Hello, my name is Julie and this is KS Mom Crochets, and today is a tutorial video. So I hope that you all will be patient with me because this is my very first tutorial, and yeah. So today we are going to be making this basic doll body, and you can use this to make anything. You can give it some hair and some eyelashes and make it a little girl. This one is actually going to be turned into a Ninja Turtle. So it's just a little basic doll. In this pattern, you start with the feet and you work your way all the way up to the head, and the only thing that is sewn on are these little arms here. And so let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing is, what will you need? So you will need your yarn, and I'm going to be using for this tutorial Big Twist Value yarn. It is a number 4 worsted weight yarn and 100% acrylic. And this color is called Cream. So the next thing that you will need is your crochet hook, and I will be using a 3.75 millimeter hook or an F hook for this. And then you also need a darning needle to weave in any ends, a stitch marker to mark your stitches, a pair of scissors, and then you will also need some safety eyes in whatever size that you would prefer for your doll. I'm going to be using these big glitter eyes that I got off of Amazon. They have these little circles that you put on the back of the clear eye, and it makes them look glitter. And then you will also need like your backs to go with those eyes. And I will have those eyes linked below in case you're interested. And then you will also need some fiber feel. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we are going to do is we're going to start with the legs. So you have to make 2 legs. Both of them will be exactly the same, and I've already made one leg here, and so this is what it looks like. And I do have some half double crochets here, and then also some single crochet decreases that kind of gives the illusion of a toe or a foot. And so you don't want to overstuff this area, because you want to be able to pinch that down to make it look more like a foot. Okay, so on the first leg, you will do exactly what I'm showing you here in just a second, except you will fasten off, and I will tell you when to fasten off for that first leg, but I'm going to start with the second leg, and on the second leg, you do not fasten off. So we're going to start with row 1, which is 6 single crochets in a magic ring. And so I'm going to make my magic ring, and this is how I do my magic ring, but you feel free to start off this any way that you feel like doing. So I've made my magic ring, and I always chain 1, but that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It just locks that ring into place. And so I will put 6 single crochets into this ring. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now I need to close up my ring, so I'll pull this tail end here and see which side is getting tight, and then I will pull the tight end to close up that ring, and then pull this tail and pull it closed. And now I'll go ahead and mark that last stitch. I always mark the last stitch and not the first stitch, but you feel free to do whatever you feel best doing for yourself. And then for in that ends row 1, and like I said, there are 6 single crochets in this magic ring. So for row 2, we are going to do 1 single crochet increase all the way around, and then we will end up with 9 stitches. So 1 single crochet, and then an increase in the next, and then 1 single crochet, increase in the next, 1, and then increase in the last stitch. And then I'll mark that last stitch, and we should have 9 single crochets in round 2. Alright, so round 3, I'm going to cut this tail off here just to get it out of my way a little bit. So round 3 is 2 single crochets and a half double crochet increase in the next stitch, and then 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then half double crochet increase. So 2 half doubles in the same stitch, and then 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you should have 10 single crochets all the way around. And that completes row 3. So in row 4, we're going to do something similar. We're going to do 2 single crochets and then a single crochet decrease in the next 2, and then 6 single crochets in the rest. So 1, 2, and then single crochet decrease. So I like to get in the front loops to do my decrease, and then finish with a single crochet like that. And then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then I'll mark that last stitch, and you should have 9 single crochets now. And then row 5 is the same thing except less stitches. So you will do 2 single crochets, a single crochet decrease, and 5 single crochets, and we should have 8 stitches. So 1, 2, and then a single crochet decrease, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that ends row 5, and like I said, you should have 8 single crochets. And that created the toe area like you see in this foot. Alright, so for rows 6 through 8, so for the next 3 rows, we will be doing a single crochet in every stitch all the way around for 3 rows. And that will be 8 stitches in every row. So 3 single crochet in every stitch around for 3 rows. Sorry if my hook is squeaking. I don't know. It normally doesn't do that, or I just don't pay attention to it if it does. And feel free to slow down the video or speed it up if you need to. And this is how I do my single crochet rows on Amigurumi, but feel free to mark every row if you feel comfortable doing that. But this is how I do mine, and I count this 1, 2, 3. So I did 3 rows, so this would be 6, 7, and row 8. And I should still have 8 stitches at the end of that. And now if this is your first leg, you will fasten off. So what you would do is slip stitch and then chain and cut your yarn to fasten off. But this is actually my second leg, so I'm going to continue with the pattern. So I'm going to mark my last stitch, pull out me some more yarn, and now we are starting on the body. So we have our 2 legs here. So what we need to do is we need to stuff this little leg, and like I said, don't overstuff this leg because you want it to be able to keep that shaping for the toes. And I'm just using the end of my hook here to get some stuffing down in there. And then I like to pinch where that I did those decreases, pinch that down so I know that is the front of the foot. So here are what the two legs look like. And now I'm going to continue on with row 9. So in row 9, we are going to connect our two legs. So on the second leg, I'm going to put one single crochet in the next stitch. And then that kind of gets me into the middle of the side of that leg. And then I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to take my second leg here, and I'm going to make sure that the toes are pointing the right direction. And I'm going to put my hook in. So I finished off here, so 1, 2, 3 stitches back from where I finished off. I'm going to stick my hook in there. And connect those legs. So I'm going to put one single crochet in that stitch, and now our little legs are connected. And now I'm going to work a single crochet all the way around into the rest of the 7 stitches. So 1, 2, and then here where I connected, I'm not going to go into the slip stitch. I'm going to go down into the stitch that's actually in the leg. And I'm going to just pull that tight there. And I'm actually going to stuff this little tail here down into the leg to get it out of the way. I'm going to work my way all the way around back until I get to my chain. And then you don't want to go in this stitch, you want to go into your chain. So I'm going to go into my chain, and I like to go into the back loops or the back bumps of my chain. As you can see, there's like here is your chain, and I like to go into the back bumps of that chain. Well, it just makes it easier to work into on the way back around. So 1, and then 2. And now we need to go around this leg, and we're going to put 8 single crochets around this leg. So you don't want to go here, you want to go into this next one. So 7 single crochets left on this leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then remove your marker. 7, and then replace your marker, and that ends row 9. And you should have 20 stitches. So let's just count and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Because you do count these 2 chain spaces as a stitch. So 20 stitches for row 9. And now for row 10, we're going to single crochet around the whole entire thing. And you have to be careful not to miss any of these stitches right here. So we're going to do 1, and then into the chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 20. And that completes row 10. Now for row 11, we are going to do 11 single crochets, a single crochet increase in the next 3 stitches, and then 6 single crochets. And for that row, we will have 23 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that puts us in the middle of the front of the doll, and these increases will create a little belly. So for the next 3 stitches, we will do a single crochet increase. So 2 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And now we will do a single crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then we will mark our last stitch. Okay. Now for rows 12 through 15, which is the next 4 rows, we will do a single crochet all the way around for the next 4 rows. So I will meet you back at row 15. Okay, so I just finished row 15, and again, that was 4 rows of single crochet all the way around, and I should still have 23 stitches in row 15. So I'm going to move my marker and mark that last stitch, and now I'm going to go to row 16, and I'm going to do 4 single crochet, decrease 3 times, and then 5 single crochet in the last 5 stitches. So 4 single crochet, 3 and 4, and then a single crochet decrease in the next, and then 4 single crochet, and then a single crochet decrease, and then 4 single crochet, 3 and 4, and then a single crochet decrease in the next, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you should have 20 stitches. So row 16 should have 20 stitches. Row 17 is 3 single crochets and then a decrease in the next all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. 1, 2, and then 3, and then a decrease in the next. 2, 3, and then a decrease in the next. And then 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to decrease in the last 2 stitches. and then mark that last stitch, and you should have 16 single crochets all the way around. Now here we probably need to add some stuffing. I don't like to add my stuffing all the way up, but we should start stuffing as we go because our piece is getting smaller. So I'm going to pull this loop up a little bit, and I like to take just a little bit, and I take the end of my crochet hook and I just stuff a little bit down into that leg hole on that side, and then I take some more stuffing and I stuff a little bit onto the other leg hole just to make sure that I have stuffing on these sides of the legs. And then I'm going to take just a little bit more stuffing and kind of push it to the sides. And just get a little bit of stuffing down there, and we will stuff more as we go. So for row 18 and 19, we are going to do a single crochet in every stitch around for the next 2 rows. So for 18, row 18 and row 19, you're going to do a single crochet all the way around in every stitch, and you will still have 16 stitches at the end of row 19. So I will meet you there. Okay, so I just finished rows 18 and 19 with my single crochet in every stitch around, and I still have 16 stitches. So now for row 20, we are going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease over the next 2 stitches all the way around, and we will have 12 stitches at the end of the row. So 1, 2, and then a single crochet decrease. 1, 2, single crochet decrease, 1, 2, single crochet decrease, 1, 2, and then a single crochet decrease in the last 2 stitches. Now I'm going to put my marker back, and that ends row 20, and I should have 12 stitches. So I'm going to add a little bit more stuffing now, and I'm just going to use my finger this time and just put some down in there, make sure that I'm getting in the sides. Pull that loop up a little bit more. You want to make sure that you're getting that belly area because you want the belly to kind of stick out a little bit. And just a little bit more here. I like to use like about that much at a time on a small piece like this. And just stuff as I go. Okay, so for row 21, we're going to do the exact same thing as we did the last row, and we're going to do 2 single crochets, decrease over the next 2, and then we will have 9 stitches at the end of the row. So 1, 2, single crochet decrease over the next 2, 1, 2, single crochet decrease over the next 2, and then 1, 2, and then single crochet decrease in the last 2 stitches here, and I will have 9 stitches in that row for row 21. And that is the end of your body. So now we are going to start on the head. Okay, so for row 22, we are going to put a single crochet increase in every stitch around. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in every stitch around, and we will have 18 stitches at the end of the row. So 2 single crochets, in every stitch around, and I will meet you at the end of the row. And 2 single crochets in the last 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to replace my marker. And that completes row 22, and I should have 18 stitches. So for row 23, we're going to do 2 single crochet and an increase in the next all the way around. And at the end of the row, we should have 24 stitches. So 1, 2, and 1, 2 in the same stitch. And I'm going to do that all the way around, and then I will meet you back at the end of row 23. Okay, so I am on my last increase at the end of row 23. Put my 2 single crochets there. Put my stitch marker back in to mark the last stitch of the row. And I should have 24 stitches all the way around. Now for row 24, we're going to do the 3 single crochets and then an increase in the next all the way around. So 1, 2, and then 3, and then an increase in the next all the way around, and I will meet you back when I get to the marker. And now I'm going to put my last increase in my last stitch here, and that ends row 24, and I should have 30 stitches all the way around now. So 30 stitches in round 24. Now for row 25, I'm going to do 4 single crochets and then an increase in the next all the way around, and that will give me 36 stitches at the end of the row. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then an increase in the next stitch. And then I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of row 25. Now I'm at the end of row 25, and I'm putting my last increase. And I should have 36 stitches in row 25. Now, for row 26 to 30, you want to do a single crochet in every stitch around for 5 rows. So you want to make sure that you're stuffing as you go, and if you would like to add a pipe cleaner or a wire or something like that at the end of row 30, or as you're stuffing, you would want to go ahead and do that. So let's pretend that this is like a pipe cleaner. You just shove it down in the middle and then stuff around that. And that will stabilize your neck if you need it to be stabilized. So I will meet you back at the end of row 30 after I have done my 5 rows of single crochet. Okay, so I finished row 30 and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of single crochet all the way around, and I still have 36 stitches on my 30th row. So I'm going to move my stitch marker up to the last stitch of the row. And for row 31, we are going to do 4 single crochets and then a single crochet decrease over the next 2 all the way around. So we're going to, and we will have 30 stitches at the end of that round. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets and then a single crochet decrease over the next 2 stitches. Just like that. And then I'm going to repeat that all the way around until I get to my stitch marker, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I am at the end of row 31, and I have my 4 single crochet decrease all the way around, and I still have 30 stitches all the way around for row 31. Now for row 32, I'm going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease in the next 2 over the next 2. So 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease over the next 2 stitches. And then I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and at the end of round 32 I should have 24 stitches. So I will meet you back at the end of round 32. Okay, I'm at the end of row 32 and I have 24 stitches. I'm going to mark my last stitch here. And now it's time to place our eyes. So we're going to place our eyes in between row 29 and 30, and they're going to be 4 stitches apart. And you can judge and change your placement if that's where you what you would like to do. But for me, I'm going to do between row 29 and 30, 4 stitches apart. And I am on row 32, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count back. So 32, 31, 30, and here's 29. So I want to go in between row 29 and row 30 here. So I want to line my eyes up with the legs. So I'm going to put this one about right here. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to put my other eye about right here. Let's see how that looks. I would say that's about even. So make sure that you put your safety backs on, and then I will meet you back for row 33. Okay, so I got my eyes in and I got some stuffing. I started stuffing that head real good. And now I'm going to move on to row 33 and 34, which is just a single crochet in every stitch around for 2 rows. And at the end of row 34, you should still have 24 stitches. So I will meet you back at the end of row 34. Okay, so I just completed row 34, so I did the 2 rows of single crochet all the way around, and I still have 24 stitches at the end of row 34. So for row 35, I'm going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease. So 1, 2, and a decrease all the way around, and at the end of this row I will have 18 stitches. So I will meet you back at the end of row 35. Okay, I'm at the end of row 35 and I have 18 stitches around, and now there's only 2 rows left. So for this next row, make sure that you have your head stuffed really well because we're going to be closing up the rest of this top. So for row 36, I'm going to do 1 single crochet, decrease all the way around, and at the end of row 36, I will have 12 stitches left. So 1 single crochet, and then a decrease in the next, all the way around, and I will have 12 stitches, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I am at the end of row 36, and I have 12 stitches around. And for row 37, which is the last row of the head, I'm going to put a single crochet decrease in every 2 stitches around. So a single crochet decrease all the way around, and at the end of this row, I will have 6 stitches left. So a single crochet decrease all the way around. And I will meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of row 37 now, and it's time to fasten off our head. So what you want to do is you want to slip stitch into your next stitch, chain 1, take your scissors, leave a good sized tail there, and cut your yarn. And then pull all the way through and pull it tight. And then we will take our needle and we will sew up that head. So what I like to do is I like to go into the loop here. I don't go through the whole stitch, just 1 loop all the way around. And I pull that tight, and then I like to go through another loop to the middle, and then I pull it down and out a stitch hole and pull that down. And then I just snip my yarn here. Kind of roll your head around in your hands there and you can shape him. But you have completed the body now. So now the last thing that we need to do is make our arms. And now for the arms, they are a total of 10 rows, and you need to make 2 arms, obviously, so I'm going to show you how to make one. So you make your magic circle for row 1, and it's going to be 6 single crochets in the magic circle, and then you will have 6 single crochets at the end of the row. So chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's just something that I like to do. And if this arm is too small for you, you can always add an extra stitch to make it a little bit easier to work with, but I preferred the look of 6 single crochets, but you can go up to 7 if you need to, because this arm is a little bit tedious. I will attest to that. So I got my 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now I'm going to close up my ring. I'm going to mark my last stitch here. And now for rows 2 through 10, which is a total of 9 rows, you will do single crochets all the way around. So 6 single crochets in every stitch around for 9 rows. 6. That first stitch is always a little tough to get into. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And what I like to do at the end of that row is I like to push this down so that you don't accidentally flip your arm inside out. And I do not stuff my arms. I just I don't stuff them at all. But you could put a little stuff in it if you prefer, but I like the look of an unstuffed arm. Okay, so I'm going to continue on for 8 more rows of this, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I have made it to the end of row 10, and I have my 9 rows of single crochet. I'm just going to remove that marker. Now, like I said earlier, I do not stuff my arms, and this is what it looks like when it's all done. But what I do like to do is I like to close off the top of my arms because I feel like that it makes it easier to sew on. So if you pinch this together, you'll see that there are 2 stitches here on each side that line up together. And those are the ones that we're going to work into. Just make sure that you have 2 V's on your hook and go through the other side there. And then just single crochet through the top of that, and then go through the second one there. Single crochet through the top of that, and then I just grab that post there, just stick my hook in to out the side there, and make a slip stitch and finish off. And that is how I do my little arms. Cut it with my scissors, and I always leave a really long tail. I leave a longer tail than what I actually need, but that is what the arms look like. Let's move this out of the way. And I don't pin my arms on, but you do want to attach your arms on row 21 of the body. So that is the row right underneath the head. I like to go right in there and attach my arms because I feel like that it helps balance that head a little bit more. and I will show you how that I sew on my arms, but by no means am I an expert, and I don't pin, or I just kind of eyeball it. So I'll just kind of scoot that head over, and I try to like line it up like right beside the eye there, to where it's like kind of lined up with the leg too. And I just go in a hole and up through another stitch hole. I have to turn it a little bit sideways here. Then I go in through another hole, make sure that I get underneath that V of that first single crochet that I made, pull that tight, go through the second one, come out another stitch hole, and I just keep sewing it on till I feel like it's secure. I even come out of a stitch hole that time. Remember, you come out of a stitch hole and not through a stitch. So I want to make sure that the back of this arm is tacked down really good, so I'm going to go back to the back again. And the best way to check to see if your arms are sewed on good is to pull them. And if they aren't attached, you will know right away. And then I'm going to actually go up and back into that stitch hole and out through the head. And now I think that is pretty secure. So I'm going to sew on this other arm, the second arm here. You can kind of take your needle there and fix any indents that you might have made. So now I want to kind of get that even, and I have to say my arms are never even, but if you want more precision in your sewing, it's definitely better to probably tack the arms down. But like I said, I'm an eyeball it person, and that's just how I am. That's how I sew my arms on. So I don't really think that this tutorial is probably, I went in the wrong hole there. Let me try again here. So I want it like down in here. Like I don't want it up here, and I went up there. So let me make sure this is right. Close enough. But I know I'm not the best at making tutorials, but I hope that I helped you. And I will have this pattern, the written pattern, in case I didn't mention it before. I will have the written pattern in the description box of the video. And you can also use the written pattern as well. But I think this little doll will be good for a lot of different things. Like I said, I may end up coming up with some different hairstyles, or maybe make a little dress tutorial. Those are the ideas that are kind of running in my head. Let's see. And now this is my last stitch sewing it on my arm. So what I did is I came out the same hole as the first arm. And what I like to do is I like to take my two tails from my arms and tie them in a knot. But you have to make sure that you're coming out the same stitch hole, so that when you put that knot back through, it's going to go up into the head. And then I thread both tails on my needle here, go back through that same stitch hole, and bring it out on the opposite side of the head. can also take your needle there to fix that. And then I just finish off. He wants to roll away. So here is my finished little basic doll body. I hope that you enjoyed making this with me, and I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope that I did a good job. Hopefully, you know, later on in the future, like I said, I can come up with some accessories or hairstyles or dresses or something for this little doll body here to where, you know, I can add on to it. And hopefully my tutorials will get better the more that I do them. So thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for always supporting me and for all your encouragement. I really appreciate you all. I never would have thought that I would ever do anything like this without your all's encouragement, and you, each and every one of you, are so appreciated, and I hope that you know that. And until next time, guys, I will see you in another video. Bye!